Working on such a magnificent and unique building, Bruce, must be quite different from your normal day-to-day occupation.
Yeah, that's right. Laying tiles in a bathroom and laying tiles on a dome are quite a different experience. And these tiles that we used on this dome were unique in themselves because they were specially made and designed for this project, copying the original dome tiles that were laid 60 years ago. And the process that was used was developed by the company to make these tiles. They had never done this kind of work before, and the company had to develop a whole unique process just to make these tiles. The original tiles were a ceramic tile with a glaze and then a gold leaf and then a glaze on top. And these ones are a porcelain tile with a glaze and it's almost like an applique that's put on and then baked. It's the same process as you get when you buy a porcelain plate with the gold lettering or gold inscriptions or gold motifs on it. It's the same process that is used for doing those as doing these tiles, except this is a bit stronger because it's outside, but it's just basically the same process. And yeah, these are dishwasher proof and microwave safe. So with these tiles, there are about 140 unique tile shapes that were made, and we also had to cut about another 140 tiles to suit the dome itself on each panel that we laid tiles on. So these tiles themselves, when we came to lay them, because they're fish scale shaped, the bottom of the tile is 17 mils thick, the top of the tile is 6 mils thick, so it has the look of slate where they overlay each other, they overlap each other, but they don't actually overlap each other just because the bottom of the tile is thicker than the top, so they have that stepping look up the dome. And they're fish scale shaped with a single curve on the bottom and a double curve on the top of each tile. So the challenge was laying tiles that aren't square on a double curved dome. So you've got a curve going around the dome and you've got a curve going up the dome. And there's no way you can put a straight edge on to get a straight line. And this was kind of a big challenge to me because you're so used to using straight lines when you're laying tiles. The tiles themselves were manufactured so beautifully and perfectly that they actually, if we laid the tiles even, then they actually formed a curve on the dome. Because if you look from the top of the dome on a plan, the tiles are in circles. So they actually have to form a circle on the dome. They're not a straight line across, they actually form a slight circle. So that when you're looking from the top, they're a complete circle around the dome. The lady who actually produced the plans for the tiles, when she was creating the CAD design, she actually couldn't make the tiles work because every time she printed a plan, the tiles were wrong. They kept going into the ribs that are on the dome. So they actually looked back at the old plans that were made 60 years ago by the original architect, and they found a plan that he had drawn of the tile design that he had used. And on the plan there was a small equation, and as soon as the lady saw this equation, she knew that was the answer to her problem. And she entered that into the computer, and then the tiles fitted. And what it was that each tile had to be 1 degree turned against the tile next to it, not 1 millimeter, because she actually couldn't measure the difference. But when she put it in the computer that each tile was 1 degree turned against the next one, then it formed the curve by itself. And so
fascinating.
It was absolutely, it was a miracle that they actually found these old plans because they were 60 years old, stored in some box somewhere. And so the process of laying the tiles was a lot easier than I expected in that sense. But there were many other challenges on the dome. There's 18 panels of tiles on the dome, and each panel was unique in its sense because the ribs that divided the panels weren't straight either. They changed size from large to small, and because they were laid 60 years ago, and you can't actually put a string line down a dome to get a straight line. So they were just all eye-sighted, so some of them were a bit wider than others, some of them a bit narrower than others. So these were challenges we had to try and overcome when we were laying the tiles.